welcome to work day 3 and week 6 of the fellowship program. And so we really have a few more weeks until our big day, which is the pitch competition, and it's on April 16th. We're more than halfway through the program, and I'm really excited to kind of hear from everyone with their updates and how the fellowship program has helped them. But of course, to understand where everyone is at. So for today, we'll be focusing on our team presentations, and then we'll siphon into networking with our mentors, as well as we'll have team-on-team networking, as well as with other community members. And I know that with these presentations and working on this pitch, it might seem like it's just additional work or just busy work, but I really think it's a great way for all the teams, all the startups here, understand where everyone else is at, the progress they've made, what they've learned, as well as just most importantly for your individual team to take a step back and evaluate yourself at what point you're at in this program, as well as just in your startup. And this experience is really is meant to help you with how you see yourself in an objective light, but also get some feedback from just the community as well as other teams. And do use this opportunity as a way to test yourself, to see how much you know your problem, how much you know your solution, and how passionate you are about the startup. And we'll start off with 5-minute presentations from each team. And then we'll also be giving 2 to 3 minutes for any audience member to speak up and ask any questions or just clarifications. And then we'll keep moving on from there. And then at the very end, we'll get into breakout rooms, which Google Meets has a cool functionality with. And we'll, every 5 to 8 minutes, we'll switch around the tables and have just awesome interactions. So we'll go ahead and get started. So is there any team that wants to go first? I love the enthusiasm. Okay. You know what? I'll pick on team Hitsnag, because I know you guys are super. Yeah, let's go.
Bro, we knew this would happen. Do you want us to share a presentation, or should we just go off what we have on screen share?
Oh yeah, please do feel free to present your screen.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that my co-founder was screen sharing while I was Millie rocking a minute ago, so I apologize for you guys having to see that. All right, let's screen share a window. Here we go. All right, so can you guys see this? Hopefully you can.
Yep.
See all yourselves. All right. So this is our update. You can see this here. We'll just present. Can you see the full presentation now?
Yep.
All right. So this is the first slide. So this is our Startup Exchange update.
Yeah, so just some of the problems that we've been looking at that Hitsnag we want to solve from when we've been talking to people. App fatigue is one of the big things that our customers have been talking about, how there's a lot of different productivity apps, Google Docs, Trello, Slack, etc., but it can make people feel more unproductive because they've got too little time to stay focused. They've got to be juggling all these different apps. And this kind of the temporary fix that people have been doing is that they email themselves, but that also gets really cluttered because there's a lot of those self emails in their inboxes. And people, they want more easier access to their favorite productivity tools without breaking flow. That's one of the big things that we learned.
Yeah. And one thing is, so what's Hitsnag? So our one-liner is shortcuts to your favorite productivity tools. Hitsnag is an assistant for your productivity apps, and it is basically a universal pen to write any information into any app or get a task executed on the go from any of your devices. So imagine scheduling a meeting with people or adding something to like Notion.so from your email. You get what you end up emailing yourself in a cluttered inbox just to the right place, so you don't even have to transfer it later. Hitsnag lets people use easy commands to stay focused on a given task and not break flow when they need to write something down or save something for later. So this is our MVP. Now, we don't know about Google Meet, so tell us if you can hear this video. Can you guys hear that?
Nope. Can we hear them?
Can you play that a little bit longer?
Yeah. Just play it.
We can't see it.
Can y'all hear that?
Can you hear that?
No, I don't think we can.
Classic. All right. Let me see if we can figure it out. Do you want us to just add the video to chat, or should we?
Yeah, we'll just send a link in the chat.
All right. So
and
classic presentation moment. Sorry for the awkward silence. All right. Let me see if we can comment this to you guys. So this is a video demoing our product. You guys can watch it on your end, just like mute it yourselves,
just
and
a
then
1-minute video.
just let us know when you all have watched it by just like nodding.
You guys could also, if you want, you could just mute the video and you could do the commentary for the minute, just for future reference as real-time feedback for you.
Okay.
Understandable. All right, you want to just do that? All right.
Yeah, so just,
All right. So in this case, we're just watching Yash use our product to
sending a card to Trello. So
yeah. So here you just open up an email.
So this is our test board on the right here. We're trying to send some information to a card. And yeah, we're adding a Trello card. So we'll just create a new email, put in Trello plus the name of the board, and it's called Trello test board. And then in the subject line, we'll put the name of the card. So new card.
Yep. So we just type in the title, and right from there, it automatically guesses what card you're thinking of. So you don't always have to go back and try to remember. And with any of the resources or boards you're trying to access, it actually has it saved to your Google. So you don't have to type it in every time. So in this case, Yash just sent a card to Trello and it immediately pops up right on the side. So it's right there, and it has the formats that you wanted from before in the same place. All right.
So yeah, we've had some pretty great progress. We launched our MVP early March, so just a few weeks ago. Which after development for about 2 months, we've started getting it out to users. We started integrating Trello and Google Docs. Those are our first 2 integrations that we've been doing. And we've also got a live website that's accepting payments. And the current functionality of HitSnag, you're able to email new cards to Trello, update an existing card in Trello, create a new Google Doc, and append to an existing Google Doc.
Yeah. And in customer discovery, we've currently been reaching out to developers, founders, and product managers. We're really trying to hone in on our target market who might actually need HitSnag a lot. So we've been going to a place like Startup Exchange, the Atlanta Tech Village, and other hubs to get more exposure to people and reach out more. We've also been in the SX newsletter, and we've been using Product Hunt for our own newsletter and going out to indie hackers to get more feedback. We're currently onboarding and calling people from places mentioned above on our waitlist.
So here's some of the feedback that we've been receiving by talking to these initial users. Some users have indicated they're kind of looking at onboarding the product.
Yeah, and like they're really, so you guys know what Gradient app is? It's Peter's from Startup Exchange, and they've been setting up they've helped you set up the product by getting like on a call if you're like using an app called Toggle, and getting them set up so you know how to use the product just on a call so it's personalized to their liking. And we really want to be able to do that with HitSnag as well. And that's some of the things that we're really looking to do. And a lot of people wish to use Notion and Slack with our to quickly, add things to Notion, or send an email to Slack, or add things to HitSnag from Slack and use their other apps.
So some of our next steps, we're just looking to onboard users more effectively, just getting them in higher volume. And then based on customer feedback, we really see that we should start integrating Notion. We've received a lot of feedback that that's an app that users really want. Also adding the ability to send images and attachments to different productivity tools. And also this is more in the future, but making HitSnag able to recognize kind of when you've got less rigid of a command, that it can use NLP to kind of figure out what the user is trying to send to what.
And it basically allows you to just say, hey, HitSnag, like schedule a calendar event, or pick out the deliverables from an email back and forth with your team or with yourself, and put it into the apps without you even really having to say much. So mentor value. It's been helping us approach the market the right way, and how to connect with the users. We've learned about SEO and marketing, and we're currently in the process of learning intent-based marketing, while also using the correct keywords to help more people discover us. And helping us make initial customers feel especially loved is something that we've gotten a lot of feedback on. And it's been really, really useful to hear how to make users feel like they're contributing more to a product, and just more than to something more than themselves.
So shout out to Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin.
Great mentor.
Here's a shameless plug. If you guys mind giving us a call, we can get you set up on a coupon or just take your feedback. We'd love to talk about how you guys use productivity tools. If anything's is painful whenever using productivity tool, we'd love to hear it because we want to make it easier. All right, thank you.
Awesome, great job, guys. I think that was a great pitch. And I'll open up for anyone to ask any questions or any clarifications or just anything.
Just out of curiosity, how many customer discovery interviews have you done thus far?
In what time frame? Last month, you said?
I guess last month.
Yeah, I would say like it could be around 35 that we've done. These can be like brief, a lot more. There's a couple that are more in depth, but we've had about 35 where it's at least 10 minutes of us talking about how people use their workflows and things like that.
That's awesome. Nice job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is John Avery. With everybody being remote, how do you set those up? How are you meeting people?
I mean, for us, yeah. I mean, Zoom has really been the big thing. We've been setting up a lot of links with Calendly. A lot of meetings with Calendly. So we just say, here's our Calendly. Just let us know when you have some time. We'd love to chat with you. So we've just been making a lot of use of our sending out the email newsletters and just talking to people online. And then people that we meet in person, of course, we try to tell them a bit more about HitSnag and get their ideas there as well.
Minor thing just in the flow of it. I would explain what you do first on the first slide in these little updates for everyone, because this is my first time attending, but you need to help people listen into whatever you're speaking to. And the same goes even for anybody when you're pitching, like really just have that down and in a sentence or two so people know what you're speaking to. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, if there isn't any other questions or feedback, we can move on to the next team. So has any of the other teams warmed up, seeing how awesome HitSnag did?
We can go next, Team Insight.
Awesome, yeah, and feel free to present your screen.
Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay,
yes.
good. So the idea we're working on, we call it insight, and we want to transfer the ideas into opportunities. We are thinking our end customers will be the investors who will subscribe to our service to access well-organized and evaluated patents from universities, which are available for licensing. And so our major idea is transfer ideas into opportunities. We want to build a bridge which can connect the ideas and inventions from research lab and the investors, business leaders outside academia. And because universities and research institutions are fertile ground for inventions that can potentially change the way we live. However, having an idea or innovation isn't enough, and universities and research labs need help growing and advancing those discoveries to a final product. And only when the public can gain the benefits. And also, additionally, universities now are even trying harder to smooth the way for their discoveries to be shared and sold. And because they are now facing state budget cuts, enrollment declines, and some other financial challenges. So if universities can success in turning those research results into products, then the money from those commercialization will help them, will provide good support for future research budget, and also add the bonus of contributing to the economic. So while this sounds like a huge thing, and as people often say, how to eat an elephant, you need one bite at a time. So our first bet in this project is the ideas, which has been patented by universities. So universities and the research labs, they file a large number of patents each year. Like Georgia Tech alone filed more than 11,000 patents based on like in the past when I searched on Google patent. But only fewer than 20% patents currently reach the commercialization phase due to the lack of publicity and investment opportunities. And the good news is, in the business world, patents can be important in some kind of industries, and especially those rely on technology and innovation. And also patents enable the limited monopolies that help to launch the product, and patents provide some relevance and some leverage when looking for potential investors. Well, regarding the MVP, well, first for the we focused on customer discovery interviews in the past, I would say 2 months. We have done 25 interviews so far, and it's been a long way for us. We interviewed many different like we interviewed people from many different backgrounds and industries, but which helped us to come to this phase. We want to focus on the patents from universities, and we want to focus on how to transfer ideas from universities to the through the commercialization phase. And so from now on, we still continue doing customer discovery interviews, but we want to focus on two parts. One is the universities, those licensing officers, and also professors or research assistants. They want to they have patents, and then we have some hypotheses we want to test throughout our interviews. And then we also want to continue our interviews with investors to say how they evaluate idea and how they say patents affecting their decision-making process. And then regarding our MVP, we start building the product about a week ago. We want to develop this platform, a centralized place to hold patents from universities. And also, in addition to the basic information which people can easily find on Google, we also want to provide some in-house analysis, including in-depth evaluations of each patent, its potential commercial values, its innovation score, comparison with its competitors, and its future gains. So the platform is more like a place to promote the connections between the investors, the business leaders from the business world, and the patents from the academia. So we hope everyone involved will gain benefits through the platform. And as data is the crucial portion of this idea, so we spent a lot of efforts to collect patent data. We collected more than 20 years patent data, and also some financial reporting of public traded companies. And also we collect the news about startups, about business, and we also collect Twitter. So we have all this data organized in our database, and so we are on our second stage right now to Fei Yang, my teammate. He focused on building the backend and then the website, and I focus on doing the data analysis. And our first goal is to have a case study in the electric vehicle or any patterns related to climate change, and we want to have a case study to show what kind of insights we can provide for investors or for researchers, and then after that we want to continue our customer discovery interviews with our case studies to say if we can actually make an impact in the industry. And so our future plan are here, and we actively working on the MVP, and then we actively study, reading some books about how to build products, and then also we are taking the courses on the patent law because our project is centered around patent. And we're also actively looking for some other startup programs which will help us to connect with larger community. And so far, our mentor, Dr. Zhang, we had really good communications in the past 2 months, and he helped us a lot regarding how to so we have a lot of notes from customer discovery interviews, and he helped us to understand our notes better, and also helped us to like the case study was what he suggested us to get started with, and he recommended a lot of really good website and books regarding how to design and how to build MVP. So yeah, that's about our team.
Awesome. Thank you, Team Insight. And again, I'll open up for any questions or feedback.
Can you say anything more about what your vision of the product is, what it actually does?
So the product, we hope right now the idea is that will be a website and investors can subscribe to. And first it's a centralized place which hold patents based on categorized by industries or categorized by universities or lab, and which are available for licensing. And in addition to the basic information about each patent, we also have some scores like innovation scores or the commercial value scores, which we derived from the data, and then we will append those scores to the patent to add another layer of information to say which patents are more have more potential commercialization value, or it's more competitive in the same industry, or it's really similar to the other patents which have already been commercialized. And that's
Okay.
the phase 1 product.
If you want to talk offline, I'd be happy to spend some time. Georgia Tech significantly just reorganized its commercialization team, and there's a whole new structure now for how that works. GTRC is the organization, the nonprofit that owns all of Georgia Tech's intellectual property. And they do actually have a website up today that lists all the IP that's available for license from Georgia Tech. But you're right, it's not getting a lot of uptake, a lot of traction. So if there's something that you can offer that would bring some attention to that list and provide some additional information about which ones are more attractive as a marketing tool, there might be some interest by GTRC to do that.
That's good to know. Yeah, I will definitely reach out to you.
You also might want to reach out to the Georgia IP Alliance, GIPA, the Georgia IP Alliance, yeah, GIPA. It's a group of lawyers in the state of Georgia that are trying to reduce friction for monetizing IP in the state. And they may be interested in what you're trying to do as well.
Thank you.
Hi, really cool presentation. I'm really glad that John's on this call as well because he's the head of ATDC, and that's essentially what ATDC was built from. Right, we had a ton of IP and patents that wasn't going anywhere, and we wanted to commercialize that. So John's a perfect person to talk to. But yeah, really cool thing. So I'm a little curious on when you say licensing. I'm assuming the investor just takes a license, pays for it, and then just moves on and builds it themselves. Or is it the model where you're connecting the grad program or the lab with the investors to get funding to either grow as a lab or become a subsidiary product or a third-party product? Is that the role you're going, or is it, yeah, there's a couple ways to go by.
So right now, we think of ourselves more like just a website to provide information and investors. So how we make money is by investors subscribed to our website in order to access the information. And because we probably won't play a role to actually connect the investors and the researchers, because all the patent informations are public available online. And then even if we say we can like offer the service to connect the two end, but they can easily find, if they like through our website, they find the information, and then they can easily find the contact information of the patent, and then they can go like just not through us. So yeah.
So your primary service is translation into something that's a little more appealing and a directory, right?
Yeah, right. So it's just like a search engine which provide one layer additional information than what people can easily find on Google. And but it's still just a information platform.
Cool. So what would be like the dream case scenario? Like what do you want this to go towards, right? Right. Everyone wants a search engine, but what does a search engine accomplish other than I search for it, right? So at the end of the day, do you want the investor to like, oh, this is the go-to spot for investors to find scalable commercial IP that is readily available? Is that the primary goal?
Yeah, and we have this kind of idea to kind of have this community, where first investors go to find the scalable patents and the ones which have commercial values, and also on the other end is a place for people to list their patents here, for the inventors to list their patents here to attract investors. So.
Okay.
Hey, okay. Sorry, it's great discussion. Love it. Love what I'm seeing. But I want to be respectful for everyone else's time and kind of move on to the next presentation. A great job, Team Insight. I'm really happy. And so, who wants to go next?
I can go real quick.
Okay.
Awesome. Are y'all able to see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So my name is Braxton and I'm with Team Cheers. Cheers is a new social app empowering users to have both healthy friendships and healthy minds. The primary problem that we're tackling is that college students spend more time on social media than actually socializing. They spend 19 hours a week on social media and only 8 hours a week socializing. Now, this isn't just a pet peeve that people are on their phone. It actually has real consequences, especially in regards to mental health. You can see our target demographic of ages 16 to 25 is the age group that has had the largest increase in depression rates over the past 10 years. So we believe that increase in depression is one cause that is the overuse of phones, and we want to play a role in improving the mental health of college students. And so Cheers is one piece of the solution towards a more socially and mentally healthy world. There are all kinds of things and resources out there to help people with mental health, but we want to provide people an alternative social network. So how exactly are we going to improve mental health in college students? Well, we started by removing the negative features of existing social networks, such as the infinite feeds that lead to addiction and wasted time, the public posts that lead to comparison. You're comparing yourself to the perfectly filtered lives of others. No one ever posts anything that is bad on their Instagram feeds. There's no more likes. We don't want people to be seeking validation, be addicted to the app. No public comments, cyberbullying, or other political negative feelings that people get from comments on social media. And also by removing the infinite feeds, there's no information overload, which studies have shown the amount of information that people are downloading to their brains these days leads to a great increase in anxiety. Our brains aren't meant to have that much information. So we took out all these negative features and then we innovated. So Cheers is social networking as it should be. It's a college student's dream. On Cheers, you can make friends, capture memories, and experience fun. You make friends by adding your friends with a tap. You touch your phone together and you become friends on Cheers. After you tap your phones and become friends, let's say you meet someone at the dining hall, you receive a follow-up notification and catch-up reminders with recommended things that you two can do together. Every time you hang out or have a meaningful interaction, it increases your infinity streak, which, unlike Snapchat, these streaks never run out. You continue to build your relationship over time, and you store your memories through photos in the app. So again, when you're together, we want to make it easy to capture your memories together, so you can quickly open your phone, take pictures together. You can import from camera roll, and you add to your friend lines, which is a timeline that shows your friendship over time. And you can increment your infinity streaks. And you can also experience fun. You can find events and activities near you, create private events to invite your friends to, and continue building those relationships. So our progress thus far, we identified the problem in 2018, designed a solution in 2019, built it in 2020, and now we are trying to prove our MVP. We currently have 447 active users on our MVP. I take that back. We have 447 users, not all active. We've done 40 customer discovery interviews in the last 2 weeks, and we're continuing to learn and iterate on our products and on our marketing strategy at Georgia Tech. The feedback thus far has been both positive and negative. It's been positive in that people tell us that we have a great design of an app and our technology is great. As in, when I say great design, they mean that it's easy to use and visually appealing. And the technology, it doesn't have any bugs, the app doesn't crash, anything like that. We also accomplished our goal of creating a mental health positive experience. People leave our app feeling uplifted and positive. There's no negative emotions associated with the app, and there's no addiction or anything like that. On the other front, the negative front, we have gotten feedback that our marketing needs to be overhauled. We need to be more specific, simple, and persuasive in our marketing. Our marketing is kind of, we try doing too much. We try telling people too much at one time, and they just want a little simple, like, why should I download this? What value is it offering me? And also, we definitely need more customer discovery. I think part of our feedback that we've been getting is that we may not be solving a specific enough problem, or we may be trying to do too much. And so we're really just going back to the drawing board and doing customer discovery and making sure that we have our problem more refined. So our next steps are customer discovery, customer discovery, customer discovery. We want to validate our problem, our solution, our revenue model, our go-to-market strategy, and our plan of execution before we put any more effort into building. We want to go back to the drawing board, make sure that what we're building is actually solving a real problem, and get that validation before we spend more hours coding. So the potential hurdles, the primary one is, do we actually have problem validation? Should we continue with our product? Should we pivot? Do we have a red or green light? Go-to-market strategy is difficult when it's two-sided. We still haven't validated our financial model, and also just having the finances to continue as a startup. And we also haven't built the app for Android yet, so we need to have more scalable technology and continuing recruiting a team. Our mentor has been incredible. John is tremendously knowledgeable about startups and just has helped me to understand what it takes to start a startup so much. He's especially knowledgeable in the areas of investment and finances. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, Braxton. Great job on that. And I do also want to say we're running low on time, so I will just have to limit it to one follow-up question. But please, if you do have any feedback or anything that you'd like to ask the teams, we do have Slack, so please do follow up on Slack. But yeah, I'll just open up for one quick question.
Just real, the thought I have is less is more. What is the niche market that needs the most happiest, or is the happiest? You know, the Labradors of people. I don't know. They're just so happy, and they want a forum to be together and deliver the product through that, whatever that group is. Maybe that's the entree you need to really service a niche market and then grow it from there. So I don't know if you don't have to answer it, but just thinking through that and servicing a single market may help you get to the escape velocity to expand to other markets.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, awesome. And once again, if any of you have any feedback, please do reach out on Slack to these teams. I'm sure they would appreciate anything and everything. And so we'll move on to the next team. Anyone want to step up?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. There's like 2 left, so I guess there wasn't much choice. Nice. Does that work?
Yep.
Exciting. Okay, so I'm going to try and make this not an academic presentation. I just gave one to my Sorry. I hit the wrong tab. So our startup is a technology startup, and clearly I'm really good at technology. Cool, okay. So again, I want to make this not academic, but there is some like background that I want to get through that I think has bearing on everybody's life here, because we're all in academia. And if you're in insight and you're in the patent space, if you're looking to hire academic experts, if you're in industry and you want to find out who is an expert in the area that you're doing R&D in, you have to deal with this problem, which is that scientific knowledge doubles about every 15 years. So the number of papers that are published in general doubles every 15 years, and it has for the last 100 years. So as long as like modern science has been a thing, that has been a feature of our knowledge systems. And by about 2400, if that keeps going, it will take the entire power output of the Earth to keep that amount of digital information just suspended in the void. And that's not even counting doing searches on it. So searches are more energy intensive than just keeping the information going. And that sort of infopocalypse is just getting worse every year when it comes to digital information. And so our initial pitch was we had this model, we have an algorithm, and we have some databases, which I'll get to in a minute. And our goal was we're going to look at departments that were interested in hiring people. And instead of having to wade through that massive information, because of some features of the way our algorithm works, which we can get into if you're interested, but I'll gloss over, assuming that nobody is, we can boil down that giant dimension of data into a usable metric, into usable numbers that you can use to find faculty that fit your department, fit your needs for their new hire, and fit your community of researchers. And the tool, or I guess the thing that makes us different, other than the algorithm, if you don't believe me that actually works, is we have a database of every chemist at an R1 university in the US right now. It's actually, that's wrong. It's about 8,000 faculty. And we have most of their publication histories and their self-expressed ideations. So anything they say about themselves that they're interested in studying, we have some of that too. Primarily, we have the directory information and that description about themselves. So if you're a hiring director and you want to find somebody, that's perfect. We have a database of everybody that exists as a chemist in the US, and we can find the people that fit your role based on these unique metrics that we make. And I won't go into the details. Don't worry about this. You can unfocus your eyes and just focus on the idea that there are Wikipedia rulers. So a Wikipedia article acts like a ruler and you can measure stuff with it. And these are those metrics that we can uniquely make. So this is one of the researchers at Georgia Tech. He's on my committee. And that manta ray looking thing is all of Wikipedia rulers that we've scraped, bashed against him. And so what I want you to get from this is that what we can do is boil down knowledge into a usable chunk. And it occurred to us after talking to some people and some mentors, especially Patrick Reynolds, who's been amazing, is that boiling down of a knowledge chunk into a usable piece is useful for lots of other systems. And that it's probably going to be hard to get an academic department to pay us to do that. But that would be really interesting work for patent searches, for other technology transfer applications. So for example, I have a job now at Los Alamos. They have a terrible patent system. A lot of that stuff will never get used because nobody will ever find it on the website, because how would you? There's thousands and thousands of patents to search through. It's just not really worth it. It's easier to find a way to get around it. The matching of needs to knowledge is what we're interested in. And so we're looking into what that pivot means now. And part of that pivot will be continuing what we've been doing with developing tools to expand our database, expanding the database, and then we'll launch a minimal viable product on that database in a couple of weeks. But then the part that has changed for us since we've been considering this pivot is customer discovery. So who those customers are now is very different than it was 2 weeks ago. Now we're interested in a lot of people that are in the patent space. I guess we're directly competing with Insight. And we're also interested in, primarily, I think our funding source, our business model might be journals are looking to get more people into some of their niche journals. And those people would be interested in publishing there, would be interested in getting their libraries to pay for a subscription there, but it's hard to make that match. You have to figure out somebody who doesn't publish explicitly in that field, but is interested in doing it. And that's the sort of thing that we are perfectly geared towards, but is difficult to do with existing data models. And so that is it. And with that, I'll leave you with our new pitch, which is Sane Solutions. It just makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Aaron. And it does make sense. And so if anyone has any feedback or a quick comment, please do say something. If not, again, Slack.
Do you guys use GPT-3 for your summaries of the articles, the text processing?
No. So natural language processing in general is like a big umbrella. You could say that we use that. But specific models, so our models are agnostic, and that's pretty important. any of those machine learning models are trained. And that training means that it's limited to your training set. The algorithm, the reason we think it's so special is it's not limited to training. It doesn't actually require that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And we'll move on to the next team. I guess Fanchi or 808, one of you two. Okay.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, cool. Let me just share my screen. Okay, cool. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
All right, awesome. So my name is Beck. I'm a third year CS student here at Georgia Tech. Just taking a wild guess, what do you think this building is? It's right by Georgia Tech, by McDonald's, Northside Drive, Cookout. Any guesses?
Oh man, I feel like yeah, there it is.
So Azan got it right on point. Maybe he had some insider info. We don't know. So yes, this is a recording studio. It's called Patchwork Recording Studios. This is where Beyonce, Mariah Carey, 21 Savage, those types of artists, they record their mix and master. And so my co-founder and I, Abi, we used to walk past it every day. We would see crazy cars pull up, like SUVs and everything, and we had no idea what it is. So one day we just stopped by and realized it was a recording studio after seeing some stuff online. And let me show you how it looks on the inside. So this is a picture from one of the studio sessions we had on the inside of it. And so if you guys haven't guessed already, our platform is called 808, and we provide a platform for recording artists, producers, engineers to book studio time. And so here's an example of a session that we had about a year ago, before COVID and everything. And so here's just a little more insight of how the platform looks like, and I can show you a demo right after. So the basic gist is there's over 300 studios in Atlanta, and the average artist maybe only knows 3, and that's usually through word of mouth. And most of these studios, as you saw before, you have no idea they're a studio just by looking at them. So you have to know who it is, and you have to know someone who knows someone. A lot of times they may have a website or they may have a phone number on Google, but their emails are usually out of date or the pricing information is wrong, and it's hard to get in contact with them. And so our goal is to allow the artist to easily dissect all this information with studios and find the proper engineer for his next project. And so when you're recording a song, how it works is usually you start off with a beat, right? So a producer, you go into the studio is where you actually record. And after you record the song, you usually get it mixed. And so that's just like the rough process, but the mixed, the engineer, that's what really takes the song to the next level. So you might be a decent like 5 out of 10 song could go to like an 8 or 9 out of 10 just based on the mix. And so here's just a quick preview of how a studio page can look like. You have the about section, some of the rooms, the staff, and here's how you can book a session. So here are just some quick socials, our website, you guys can check it out. Right now we're pretty heavy on Clubhouse, but let me show you where we're currently at. So to date right now, we're inside the user testing phase. We're onboarding studios right now. So we have about 5 to 10 that are in the process of adding information. And they're a mixture of home studios and professional studios. So home studios, like the name says, they're usually an engineer who has a setup at his house. And so he charges people maybe $50 an hour or $30 an hour, and that's usually on the lower end. A professional studio like Patchwork, that's the higher end. And so that's what we're doing for our beta test, a combination of all of those. And a really important part that we found from customer feedback is that it's great to know the pricing information, all that, but the engineer is really what sets you apart because you want someone who fits your right sound. And so an engineer can make his profile, include audio samples, video samples of his work, and they can request it in a session. And so currently we're at about 5 studios that we're testing with and onboarding, and we're getting ready to get the booking users that we have a wait list for. So there's a two-sided model, and our mentor has been really helpful with that, getting us to try and really understand how we can provide value for both sides of the equation. So it's not really limited on either side. So that's where we're at right now, and we're looking to get about 2,500 users by May. That's our goal. And we're adding features every single week as we're user testing. Any questions?
I have a really quick question about like, how do you monetize this? Are they paying to be on the platform?
Okay, great question. Great question. So yes, right now we're giving them a free trial for a couple months, but it will be a subscription-based model where they can list their studios. So let's just say $50 a month, $200 a month, depending on the size of the studio.
I see. And did you guys like confirm that like through your customer discovery, did you confirm that this is something that they'd be willing to pay for to have their name on there?
Correct, correct. So that's something we're looking into right now, the different types of payment models, but we found that they really like not getting a cut out of every single commission, but they want more leads, especially home studios and some of the mid-tier studios during COVID. A lot of that traction has been lost. So they're really looking for more ways to monetize. They're using some other services like scheduling. Any of you use like Acuity scheduling or like Calendly, those types of services, but you can't really find all the studios you need as an artist. And so it just provides you more leverage for that avenue.
Hey, yeah, sorry to cut you guys off, but we are running low on time, and we have one more team. I know it's getting we're pushing 5, but Banshee, if you guys can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Are you all able to get the presentation up? Yeah, I'll message Banshee over Slack real quick, but let's see. Hey,
Yeah.
okay.
For some reason I got disconnected. Here, let me try to share my screen now. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. So, hi everyone. We're Banshee, and these are like our updates so far. So, our problem, what we've like kind of seen as our general like consensus, is that there's no viable means for like active interaction during sports gaming events. So, like when I say interaction, I mean like obviously like human to human. And so we want to deliver a platform where sports fans can interact and have a greater than a 2D experience, so like an e-stadium almost. And so we think that our hypothesis now is that we're targeting people who watch like 50 to 100% of their favorite team's games, excuse me. And we're also looking at where the market is going, but I'll talk about that later. So we kind of started, hence our name, fan sheet, like thinking that we wanted to create a platform specifically for women fans to interact and to highlight kind of some of your underrepresented female sports. So like the WNBA, women's soccer, things of that nature. But like after talking to our mentor, we knew that we had to like kind of do some customer discovery and figure out like what the customer wanted and where our markets were going, and like who was like actively watching, like I said, 50 to 100% of their favorite teams games. So basically what it looks like now is you have like a really flat experience, especially like it's kind of highlighted during Corona especially. So you have like empty stadiums, empty fields, empty arenas, and they kind of demoed like the like kind of the superimposition of like you in a like a stadium seat, like during the NBA All-Star game and during the NBA the finals. But like in our research, the Super Bowl, the NBA All-Star game, the finals, they were all at their lowest points. And we think that's more than just because of Corona, but obviously that's highlighted. It's been going down for a couple of years now. I think it's been like a 5-year trajectory of like decrease in viewership. And so we started with customer discovery. We've talked to, I want to say like approximately 45 to 50 people. And we've had the chance to like interview both males and female sports fans, and then even like small like amateur content creators, like sports content creators. And we're looking to expand on this as we move forward. And so our general like theories and hypotheses are that like people are watching these games alone and they have to go like out of their way to connect with friends. So we have like people FaceTiming people after the game, or like watching alone and then like proceeding to like connect with their team or like watch highlight reels after. But there's no like means for like kind of intertwining the two. And so you have like I believe in this Corona era, you had the NBA kind of debut their Pro Bowl on online via YouTube, but you kind of have like these two-dimensional chats that like are just kind of plagued with like constant spamming. And so we believe that's like a kind of like a pain point for a lot of our like target market right now. And then there's also like no stake that any one user or any one fan has in the game. And so we're trying to encourage people to interact, especially the silent user, the silent watcher, and things of this nature. So like in tackling this, we think that we want to have like live interaction and streaming, limited chatting, and then like offer alternative commentary and listening channels. So like this has kind of been like a really big thing we've seen when we introduce this into our customer discovery. But just like giving people alternatives to listening to commentators and reaction people that like they can connect with. And then we also want to explore gamification and betting. And so in terms of our like rebuilding our MVP, we're exploring like using Electron, which we've been investigating and trying to acclimate ourselves to that. And we've had like really good recommendations from like not our customer discovery, but just like in seeking like technical help elsewhere and interviewing like people in the industry. And so yeah. And then like our next steps are we've learned from like everybody else's experiences that we don't want to rush to rebuild our MVP, because we want to do another like big round of customer discovery, because we just simply haven't talked to enough people. So we want to retest the new hypotheses that I've just introduced, and then from those analyze to build like the functional requirements of our platform, and then of course like build out our MVP. So yeah, thank you.